Hello, this is Jake Light Gaming Lawyer at your service. Welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. And we are going into a new chapter now. Right? And this will be the last one. We will be finishing the first of a two-part series, I think, in this Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. So without further ado, let's try to, see what it entails, what it will be like, the final chapter. Right. Without further ado, let us continue with the game now. The Adventure of the Unspeakable Story. The Hound of the Baskervilles. A hound you burst, but not as such a hound as many immortals.
It's coming! Sholmes's cry pierced through the thick wall of fog around us. Wisps of vapor flowed over the pistol as I cocked it, and I waited breathlessly in the stillness. The silence lasted for what seemed an eternity, until, at last, it appeared. From the shadows of the cloud, an enormous beast sprang out upon us. A hound it was, but not such a hound as any mortal has ever seen. Its eyes glowed with a smoldering glare. The whole of its ox-sized body was outlined in white-hot flames. Its rumbling pant and hideous howl, so terrified was I that I began to tremble with fear. "Look well, Wilson," Sholmes declared, gazing upon the mystical beast. "For this is the diabolical Hound of the Baskervilles."
Our first 2 months in London passed by in a flash. Well, it's been 2 months. In that disconcerting courtroom experience we were first thrown into on the day we arrived in the country, and in Soseki-san's terrible ordeal that had followed closely behind, we had emerged victorious. However, there then came an abrupt end to our opportunities to appear in court, which was hardly surprising, of course, since I was nothing more than an amateur, an unknown student of law from a faraway land. The life in our little office was very quiet. That is, until it was shattered one day by that fateful telegram. Oh yeah, we have a room now. We have decorated it. That morning, I was woken up by the unreserved knocking on the door by the telegram boy. But after he'd gone, Susato-san's behavior became very obviously strange. Susato-san? Yes! Is it time to leave for court already? Let me see, what case is it today? I don't think I'm scheduled to defend anyone at the moment, am I? Oh, no, of course not. How silly of me. But I think Iris said he would make us breakfast this morning. So shall we go down to Mr. Sholmes' suite? Yes. Iris makes the most delicious breakfast food. She does, doesn't she? And once our bellies are full, we can live for court in fighting fit form. Let me see. What case is it today? Here we go again. Let's converse. How are you, Susato? So, what was it about? Telegram that was delivered this morning, I mean. Oh, a telegram? I don't know what you're talking about. Sorry, but you're not going to get away with that. Well, I didn't think I would. Actually, don't give it a moment's thought. It's nothing. Nothing interesting. Boring, in fact. It was just a boring old telegram. That's 3 times now that she's tried and failed to convince me it was nothing. I promise that I'll tell you about it at some point. Alright, I understand. I suppose Saseki-san will have arrived back in Japan by now, won't he? Yes, I should think so. He left immediately after the terrible ordeal. Which would mean he should have completed the voyage already, albeit just a few days away. A fortnight ago, we had that very long telegram from him, do you remember? Complaining about seasickness. But by and large, it seems the voyage has been going well. Is something wrong, Naruto-san? I was just wondering, what might have become of Soseki-san had he stayed in London, that's all. You mean, as regards Lord Van Zix, the Reaper? Yes, I can't help wondering if seasickness would have paled into insignificance at that case. Quite a vocabulary you have, Ryonosuke-san. Have you developed it through the months? Why is it they say that no one stands in the dock can be saved from the Reaper, right? Like the way that nightmarish trial ended on the very day we arrived in London. Even 2 months ago, the cause of the dreadful fire is still a mystery. Yes, but at least Soseki-san is safely out of the country now. Presumably that means that the curse of the Reaper can only take effect within the confines of the city of London, perhaps. Even if that's the case, it's a little comfort. I have a terrible sense of foreboding. If the legend of the Reaper is to be believed, it would mean he wields the sword of justice himself. Come to think of it, I wonder what he's been up to these past 2 months. Surely not wielding that sword against more acquitted defendants. No, I don't think so. Apparently Lord Van Zix hasn't appeared in court once since our last encounter. Probably ashamed that he has been defeated by a foreigner, a Nipponese. Heh? Oh. Yes, since Saseki-san's trial, he's withdrawn from judicial service again, it seems. Really? Just like before, when he wasn't seen in court at all for several years. So it's just been me who's had to face him in his recent spate of trials then. Ugh, just my luck. I wonder if luck doesn't come into it. Sorry, what was that? Oh, nothing. Never mind. Right. So, should we start examining our room? Hey, it's that thing, the thing. The Darumado. I still brought with me from home. Still with only one eye colored in. I said I'd color the other eye once I won my first court case here in Britain, but you have won, haven't you? Twice, in fact. Because I feel as though I'm still lacking as a lawyer, you know, because a lawyer takes years of practice and, well, not practice, studying to become qualified to be a lawyer. I tell you what, why don't you color the other eye in once you think I'm a proper, fully fledged lawyer? If you insist. Oh, that's cute. It's spring at last, and the weather is warmer now. But I love the smell of the fire and the steam rising from the kettle. Oh, would you like some tea, Naruto-san? Thank you, Susato-san, but I'm alright for now. With the green tea Susato-san makes me from time to time, and Iris's unique herbal infusion, herbal infusions. This place is a paradise for a true tea lover. Green tea is such a wonderful accompaniment to British tea cakes, don't you think? Right, those are the things that I'm... Alright. We've only been here in London for about 2 months, but my desk is starting to look a little messy already. Could tidy up once in a while. Susato-san, I would say making a mess is some small sacrifice to pay for being able to further your studies. And time spent tidying up is time you can't devote to the same cause. Which is me just being lazy, but then it is very accurate because lawyers are very untidy people. Well, at least for me. Oh, when I was working anywhere actually, my table, my shelves are always disheveled, full of papers and everything, and yeah. And time spent on ridiculous arguments, time that could be better spent on some simple housework. You said it, Susato. I agree with you. Wholeheartedly. She wins, but I'm supposed to be the lawyer here. Yep. Right, what's this blue paper? Ah, this must be the telegram. Let's see. No, you mustn't look at that. Not under any circumstances. Oh, alright, I won't. I'm sorry, Naruto-san, but you can be very mischievous at times. Then put the telegram away if you don't want people looking at it. Because, you know, nosy people like me try to investigate everything. What's this? An aquarium? We were rather lucky to find that old aquarium left behind here. The prawns we put in there are doing rather well, and the anemones too. It's a wonderful invention inside the sea behind the glass inside your room. Another example of Great Britain's greatness. Having to clean it out and change the water isn't so great though, is it? Right. I think that's why I want to read, yeah, we will move downstairs. Sholmes Suite. Morning, Bruno. Morning, Susie. Good morning, Iris. What is that dreadful noise? Don't tell me it's that goddamn Sherlock Sholmes. Iris? What is it, Bruno? What is that terrible noise? Sounds like a cat being strangled. Yep, it does sound like that. Ah, yes. Ah, yes. You noticed that, did you? Bloody hell. Hurley isn't in the best form this morning, it seems. I like that. I like that Sholmes is down. Hello. Hello, Mr. Sholmes? Good morning. A good morning to die, perhaps. Has something happened, Mr. Sholmes? You look miserable, and the way you were playing the violin before. My analytical mind is dead. Music is dead. The world is dead. Then this blanched existence. That's all it is, my dear fellow. Nothing of consequence. I'm afraid I don't understand. Well, Iris, isn't time we ate? Some dry toast and insipid coffee for me, if it's not too much trouble. Oh, Kitty! Natsume's Kitty. Oh look, it's Wagahai. Wagahai. Why does it sound... It sounds like something Japanese royalty would say. Or some sort of weird upper formal language. Good morning, boy. Meow. That must be some sort of tiny door for cats to use. How did it get there? Well then, everyone, time for breakfast. Oh, wonderful. Let me help you, Iris. Ugh. It would indeed be a fine day to die. I knew something looked different. But it brings joy to me, though. Something's missing from Mr. Sherm's desk. Oh no, I have to talk to this guy. Alright then. Why do you want to die, Sholmes? You seem to be very unhappy this morning, Mr. Sholmes. What's happened? I am so concerned and worried. It used to be the case that in my hands, this violin sung like the dawn chorus. Its melissonant tones would make flowers bloom. It would. But now, the muses are unamused with me. The goddesses of music have thrown me over. Whatever do you mean, Mr. Sholmes? For hours I have bowed, for days even. Through the night I have endeavored to no avail. You're speaking in riddles, Sholmes. That sound, my tone, is lost. That brilliant, clear, unwavering tone, gone forever. No more reciters of unbridled emotion. Well, you haven't been practicing much lately, have you, Hurley? Don't worry, I'm sure it will come back to you in time. Heed my words, Mr. Naruhodo. The goddesses of the arts are fickle. One day they bestow genius on a man. The next day, unmercifully withdraw it. Oh dear. How dramatic. Ugh, why is this happening to me? If they take the turn I have for violin for me, what is left, for pity's sake? What is left? Deduction perhaps? Isn't that what you're known for? The missing machine. Mr. Sholmes, I don't like to pry, but your desk looks rather empty today. Ah, well done, Mr. Sato. Your observational skills do you credit. Oh no, Mrs. Sholmes, they pale into insignificance when compared to yours. You'd struggle not to notice, wouldn't you? You mean Hurley's great analytiscope? That's at Windybanks now. Sorry? It's at a Windybank? No, Windybanks, the pawnbrokery. Pawn? What? You mean you've pawned that enormous machine of yours? It has some considerable value, you see. Quite undeservingly. But isn't it a very important machine for your work? I do wish you had consulted us if your situation had become so desperate. I should have gladly passed what little income I have to you. Dear madam, things are far from desperate. But the pawnbroker has your wonderful machine. How can it be anything but desperate? Making use of a pawnbrokery is quite ordinary here in London, I assure you. It is? It doesn't sound ordinary at all. It would seem that neither of you fully understand how pawnbroking works. Oh, what's to understand exactly? Oh man, your sob story, can you just get to the point? What do you mean when you say we didn't fully understand how pawnbroking works? To the people of London, pawnbrokeries are akin to banks. Banks? On Mondays, merchants relinquish their finest jackets and trappings to their pawnbroker of choice. With the money they receive in return, they are able to trade happily through the week. And then on Saturdays, they go to recover their things using the money they've earned. I had no idea. This has been a fascinating lesson for us. Everyone does it, you see, especially people in London. And should they have money to spare, they will purchase another fine jacket. Not to wear, obviously, but to pawn, should the need arise. Oh, how ingenious! So whenever we have something that's getting in the way, we leave it at Windybags, you see? A pawnbrokery can be thought of as an extremely secure vault. Who would have thought that even pawnbrokers are different here in Great Britain? Of course, you have to watch Hurley with it. Sometimes he pawns things he really shouldn't. Don't you, Hurley? What does it matter? The world is dead to me now. Right, can we leave? We can't leave. We'll talk to Iris then. Waka-hi. Mr. Natsume's cat seems to have settled into his new home then. Oh yes, and I've become very attached to little Waggy. It would appear his previous owner is completely forgotten to him. Cats are unfeeling creatures. Their mews as empty as the hearts of the muses. Oh, so cute. If Mr. Natsume had no intention of taking Waggy back to Japan, I wonder why he kept him in the first place. I expect he would have taken him if he could, but pets are strictly forbidden aboard steamships in our experience. And for good reason. Terrible things can happen if the rules of passage are not obeyed. We never saw the dog in the ship at the end. Well, I don't mind, because Waggy is adorable. Indeed he is. Yes, he really is. Oh yes, what about the door? I don't remember seeing that tiny thing in the main door before. Where did that come from? Oh, you noticed. You are observant, Reno. Look, I used this. It's my latest invention. What is that? I call it the cat flap moped. Flap boom. How do you pronounce that? Cat flapomat. Cat flapomat. Flapomat. Gosh, a machine for making doors just for cats? That's right. It can make a cat flap for a little furry friend like Waggy in seconds. It can do it in any door at all, no matter what it's made of. It's very powerful, you see. Wouldn't it have been quicker just to make the cat flap, rather than making a machine to make the cat flap? Well, yes, maybe, but I can make a cat flaps any way I like. Oh, I think it's wonderful. You must make one for us in the door of our office upstairs, Iris. She really knows how to come up with unconventional inventions. This girl. Damn, how do I do cute voices? I'm not cute at all. Oh, what was that? What got high? Clatter, clatter, screech. What was that? Oh no! Wagaha is tangled up in your violin. I think he thinks it's a toy. No! What's he doing to it? Oh dear, Mr. Sholmes' precious violin. Why should I care? What? I shouldn't be surprised if the cat is a more accomplished musician than I now. Damn, get a hold of yourself, Sholmes. Mr. Sholmes really is in the poor spirits, isn't he? Well, anyway, I'll put it back where it lives. Shall I? Hurley? Out of the cat's reach, if possible. Maybe we should assess the damage. Alright. What else should I be doing? Let's see. Should I be examining places or should I be going somewhere else? I don't think I can go anywhere else. Examine the violin. So this is the violin, isn't it? It's a Stradivarius, one of the finest violins in the world, made by the renowned Italian luthier Antonio Stradivari. Oh, I see. It doesn't really look like anything special to me. I happened upon it covered in dust, languishing in a pawn shop down a nondescript back alley. The broker had no idea of its value, so I was able to purchase it for mere 55 shillings. How honorable of you! And until today, it has been my faithful companion in every great Paganini-inspired performance I have made. I ask you, is there reason to live in a world devoid of music? To tolerate this blanche existence? No. There is none. Mr. Sholmes? What, dear madam, what? My thoughts are preoccupied with fancies of release from this dull routine. Well, it's about the violin. It looks very different to normal, don't you think? What do you mean, Mrs. Huttle? Oh, Susie's right. Yes, the tone of the wood is completely different. And that's not all. I'm sure there was no crack here before. Wait, it's not even the right size, is it? What's this? I'm terribly sorry to have to tell you this, Mr. Sholmes, but that instrument isn't a violin at all. Then what? I believe it's an entirely different instrument called a viola. What? What? Oh, Mr. Sholmes, you're right. You're quite right. This isn't my faithful Stradivarius. So what, pray, is this piece of string flotsam? Not your faithful performing partner, then? Ah, I see what must have happened. You do, Iris? This is just a simple mix-up. It sounds like Iris might be able to tell us exactly what's happened if we ask her. Alright. Is it? So, let me check. Alright, we can ask her, but it seems we are out of time, so thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode. And we are starting a new chapter now. Right? Yes, finally. It's been what, 20 episodes? More than that probably, of that previous one. This was quite a long one, not gonna lie, but we're finally at the end of this first of the two-part game. But yeah, we'll see what is Iris's proposal, suggestions, theory next. So take care, stay hopeful, but be critical, alright? Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Why did I do that? Bye-bye.